Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we're going to make an arrangement for an order. This is one of our arrangements on the website. And we are going to put it in a Rosy Posy vase. So this is a glass vase we order from Direct Floral. I love this vase strictly because the bottom is flat and it's very easy to transport. You don't necessarily have to have a box to transport it. I have filled the vase with fresh water and a little bit of flower food so that it would feed the flowers and they would be happier longer. We're going to start out with some beautiful white hydrangeas. So I have 2 stems of white hydrangeas and I have some quick dip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and remove the greenery from the stem. Using my floral knife, I'm going to cut that flower at that stem at an angle and I'm going to dip it in something called quick dip. Quick dip is a hydrating solution that helps our hydrangeas stay hydrated longer. Now, if you don't have quick dip, you don't necessarily have to have quick dip. You can absolutely run to your local supermarket, pick up alum, pickling alum, and it's usually in powder form. If you'll wet the stem of your hydrangea and dip it into that alum is going to do exactly the same thing that this liquid quick dip will do. All right, so I just took those stems, I dipped them in the quick dip, and then I tucked them right into the vase. So we are going to basically use these white hydrangeas as a grid. Now I get a lot of people fussing at me saying, you covered up the hydrangeas. And they do give us that pretty white down deep, but a hydrangea is very large. And so I don't necessarily want the hydrangea to be my focal point. I really want just the pops of white underneath. Next I'm going to come in with a little bit of greenery. So this is called holly fern, and it's really such a pretty fern. We get it a good bit here at our shop, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to take each stem, and I love the way that it gives us a little bit of whimsy in an arrangement. I'm going to cut those stems and just nestle those right into my vase. I'm stripping off a few of the leaves. I don't need the greenery that far down on the stem, so I went ahead and removed a little bit. I do have some seeded eucalyptus, but I'll use that last. Next, we're going to come in with some white stock. Now, stock, I would call a lime flower. It has a really pretty fragrance. And it comes in a good many colors. It comes in shades of purples and lavenders. It comes in white. It comes in a yellow or a lemony color. They call it lemon, but it really looks more like a butter color. Comes in kind of a shade of pink, but it's a really pretty lime flower. Now let me say that stock does not really like floral foam. It prefers fresh water. So when using it, I want you to think about that because it's going to last much longer if it's in direct water. Okay, so there's 3 stems of stock. Next, we're going to come in with these pretty maroon colored daisy mums. So this is the perfect time of the year for maroon. And our college, our colors are maroon and white. So it's always a hard color in the spring, but it's the perfect color for the fall. And so we can get our hands on lots of maroon in the fall. I'm going to take those stems and cut them at an angle, and I'm just going to nestle our pretty maroon daisies right down into those hydrangeas. And you can see how the hydrangea is holding those stems upright so that they don't flop over in this container. I'm removing a few of these little blooms. They have tiny little buds because I don't quite need them that far down on the stem. So I went ahead and removed a few of the blooms. Tucked those right in. Next we're going to come in with these pretty white mums. So this is a small variety of football moms, just a really pretty cushion mom. So I'm going to take those and tuck those around in this arrangement. You always want to be careful though when working with mums, because if they get bumped, they'll just shatter. You'll lose the whole flower. So always be careful when working with them. Try not to bump them too hard because they'll just shatter. But they really are a very long-lasting flower. And really nice because they last a good long time. Okay, next we're going to come in with some heart roses. So I have pretty red heart roses. Now I love this variety because it's dark and it works really well as a maroon. Now I like it also. It's a really hardy rose, and it has lots of petals. I'm trying to pull a wire out. It has a large petal count, so it opens up really large and showy. It reminds you a lot of a garden rose. I'm going to take about 1/4 of a piece of florist wire, and I pressed it right into that calyx, and then I wrapped it around that stem. This is just going to help keep this this rose upright, so that if in case he doesn't get quite enough water, he's not going to droop. His little head won't droop. And we wire all of our roses. So I'm just tucking that wire in and nestling that rose right down into that arrangement. So we have this arrangement pretty all the way around. One more piece of wire. Now, I want you to check those roses before you tuck them into an arrangement. If they have a bump or bruise on the petal, go ahead and pull that off. It's not hurting that rose at all. All right, next we're going to come in. I got this one stock leaning. There we go. Next we're going to come in with some chamomile. So chamomile or feverfew is just a pretty white filler flower. So I'm going to take it, and you'll see this is one stem. So you see how many pieces you get on one stem. So I'm just going to take a knife and cut the individual pieces off, and so they can go all the way throughout this little short arrangement. I love the texture and even the smell of chamomile. So when you think of chamomile, often you think of chamomile tea, and this is what it's made out of. This flower comes from chamomile that the tea is made from. I'm just individually taking those little stems. Now you need to be sure that you hit that water. Sometimes you'll try to hit the water and you'll miss. So be sure that all your stems get in the water. All right. Next we're going to come in with a little bit of eucalyptus. So I have some seeded eucalyptus. It doesn't have tons of seeds, but it does have the pretty leaves. So I'm just going to take and cut it into smaller pieces and go all the way throughout this arrangement. I like to kind of go right there on the edge of the vase. To me, if you add your greenery right to the edge of that vase, it helps to soften the edge where it doesn't look like there's a scoop of ice cream sitting on top of the vase. And you can see I'm not going to even use nearly all that stem. I'm just going to use just a few pieces. It's always nice when you do these low arrangements and you don't have to use quite as much. All right, and this arrangement has a bow in the picture, so I'm going to add just a maroon and white ribbon. It had a polka dot, maroon and white polka dot bow. We do not have any of that ribbon available, so I'm just going to use this pretty stripe. But I'm just taking and making several fun loops, and I am going to take a piece of wire. And there you go. There is our pretty maroon and white arrangement. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would be so happy to answer your questions. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit that little subscribe button right down below. Hit the bell and you'll get a notification for when we have a new video. Thanks, guys. See you soon.